Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's your boy Barlo.b.theorizing, and welcome back to the Barlo Zone, home of the one and only demon hunter King Kaido himself sent to Azeroth. How's everybody doing today? I hope y'all having an amazing day. Uh, I would, you might notice, might look down from time to time. I wanted to start with a update real quick for my channel because I've been noticing I'm getting some interaction, and if y'all gonna keep coming back, I want to make sure I'm giving you the best of my abilities. So I am going to work on making sure I'm better about having some bullet points to keep myself on track and to be upfront because I'm all about clarity and transparency. I am using free software to edit, so as of right now, there is very limited stuff that I can do as far as experimenting with the editing process. But I don't want to be one of those highly edited channels. If I can figure out how to work GIFs into the editing stuff like that, uh, I one day would like to go there. But for the most part, I want y'all to see the sincerity on my face and what I'm saying when I'm coming to y'all presenting my theories, right? So I just wanted to take a quick moment to address that, let y'all know that I am going to be working on making sure I'm giving y'all consistent quality in the content. If I'm going to ask y'all to give me 20, 30 minutes of your day, I want to make sure that it's going to be worth your day. So I do appreciate, got my second video to over 100 views. I am so excited about that. I have so much love for y'all, man. Like, I'm just a dude. I don't think that highly of myself. Like I've mentioned before, I've damn fly. I don't even think I've ever known 100 people throughout my entire life. So y'all interacting with me is amazing. I want to make sure y'all know that I love that. But today I wanted to present a theory in a different way. That there is definitely going to be a theory in here kind of towards the end. But in the process of making, editing, watching, and thinking about my last video, because I always make sure I watch my videos when I post them. It's one of the things that made me realize that I get to rambling sometimes. But what I noticed was there's a flaw I don't see addressed very often in the theory crafting community, and I'm very much guilty of it myself, right? It's not a big thing. I don't want to take anything away from what we do because that's kind of the problem. We put so much effort into presenting something to you guys, not just in a way to make it tantalizing or whatever, but a good theory crafter wants to make sure that what we're crafting is not only plausible but lines up with everything that's happened in the story so far, right? And in the process of doing that, we spend so much time focusing on the theory, we forget to think about what I'm going to refer to as the fallout of theory crafting. And what do I mean by that, right? So just as a generic example, it's like, okay, point A, B, C, D, and E all lead me to believe this one thing. Maybe there's a small chance of it this way because of point C, but all five coming together have brought me to this conclusion. We forget to think about what that means for everything that's happening around the focus of our theory, right? Like we get so single track tunnel vision on the theory that we stop considering the peripheral of what's going on. And on that point, I want to come to today's discussion, right? And why it pertains to my last video, because I've been seeing a lot of talk about the Tritoma potentially being Luffy's mom, right? But we forgot to take into account what that means for a very long-standing theory in the community, something a lot of people have gotten connected with and even kind of based other theories around, right? And while I was watching my last video, it dawned on me that I forgot to mention something. And I was kind of glad I didn't mention it because it gave me a chance to come back and make this one because I do believe this is a fallacy a lot of good theory crafters fall into completely by accident. So that's why we need our community, somebody there from the outside listening to what we're saying, like, hey, what does that mean for this over here then? Right. And the theory that I'm talking about is this garp and dragon angle, right? There are a lot of theories. Don't get me wrong. This definitely isn't the only theory that's presented on it. But one of the more popular ones that I've heard over the last decade and a half, reading weekly, is the potential that the reason that Garp never refers to Dragon as his son is because he's not his biological son, and he broke Garp's daughter's heart by leaving the Marines or whatever ended up happening. But now we're considering this angle of Tritoma being Luffy's mom. So let's take into account what that means, right? Because Tritoma is, as of 44 to 48 years ago, a young pirate on the Kuja pirate vessel, right? Sorry, gotta hydrate. Which means she's from Amazon Lily. Born there or not, if you're on the Kuja pirate ship, that's you claim Amazon Lily as your home. So she's from a culture that 86's men on principle alone. No questions asked, like, oh, it's a dupe. We're all rather familiar with the warrioresses of Amazon Lily and the crews that they send out to sea. So there's very little chance, considering how young Garp is at this point, that he had a kid with somebody on Amazon Lily who is failing to mention that he has a kid with them, right? So if we're going to assume that Tritoma is Luffy's mom, and I call it an assumption because that's kind of what every theory is, I do completely recognize the validity behind it. There is a lot that makes it track so far. But if this is the assumption we're going to work under, then we have to accept that Dragon is Garp's biological son. Now, why is this important, right? Because, there's reasons Garp might not want to associate with Dragon, right? He's the leader of the Revolutionary Army. He doesn't want people to know. But bro, you both go by Monkey D, insert name. The connection is not that difficult to suss out, even for the most average of One Piece citizens. So I don't think the lack of recognition is because he left the Marines, or he's forming the RA, or he's the world's most wanted criminal, because the Gorosei would already be aware of that connection. The Marines, the Celestial Dragons, they would already be aware of that connection. And then as well, Garp continues to refuse to become an admiral because he knows the admirals are under the direct control of the Gorosei, and he doesn't want any part of that. How much he understands about the Will of D is still up for debate, up for question, but I don't think we can discount that he is completely oblivious to what the Will of D represents. So, for these reasons, I fail to find any validity behind Garp constantly refusing to refer to himself as Dragon's father, right? It's always, whenever anybody's talking about the Monkey D family, it's Garp is the grandfather of Luffy, the future grandfather of Luffy. It's never father of Dragon, And that is where the waters begin to get murky, because by accepting this theory for now that Tritoma is Luffy's mom, potentially Luffy's mom, we are also accepting that Garp is no better than any other father in the series. He turned his back on and abandoned his son without any truly valid reason. And I think that's why sometimes we need to be aware of the fallout of our theories, right? Because, yeah, everything about the Tritoma angle tracks. Like, everything we know so far, from the looks to the age range of her and Dragon to the, that smile, the personality that we kind of seen. I know it was only one panel, but that one panel is very telling compared to the person we are theory crafting around, right? And then the angle that she is the Empress of Amazon Lily that we know goes on to die of a broken heart. It tracks so far that she could be the elusive mother of Luffy. But we need to make sure we stay aware of what that means for everybody else involved with Luffy. Because all of a sudden, terms like hero of the Marines bear a little bit less weight, right? When you start to realize what Garp potentially did. Because, and I'll admit, maybe that there is something I'm forgetting right now. I've only done a couple days of research and thinking on this so far, but I really failed to find any other reason behind Garp deciding that he no longer wants to be associated with his biological son, even though he proudly claims to be Luffy's grandpa. He never denies it, never gets mad at anybody for referring to him in that way. He is Luffy's grandpa and he's proud about it. Even though the kid didn't choose to do what Garp wanted him to do. So, why are we okay with him being proud of one of the most wanted pirates on the high seas, a Yonko, but he isn't proud of Dragon? Now, that's kind of the theory, right? Is because we don't have confirmation either way, Tritoma being Luffy's mom or Dragon being Garp's son. But it's a theory that is the byproduct of another theory. And these are the ones that I call the Fallout of Theorycrafting, that are the pitfalls, right? We all want to be like, oh, hey, we're finally getting some Luffy lineage, parental backstory stuff, while failing to remember what we already know about Luffy's lineage and what that means. And if Tritoma is Luffy's mom, then that means Dragon, father of Luffy, is also Dragon, son of Garp. And that leaves us with a hero who is kind of just as garbage as every other father in the series. A few obvious exceptions. Judge is by far one of the worst dads ever. But I mean, because of this, Garp is on the same level as the Yasops, or the Dragons, or the Kaidos. So, that's kind of the theory. I'd love to hear what you guys think about it. I did forget to do the socials thing at the beginning, so I'll leave that here. Don't forget to check me out at Barlo.b.theorizing on X and Tumblr. And then, as always, I'll make sure to drop that link to the Discord community in the bio. If you'd like to come and talk about anything more than a quick YouTube comment, feel free to stop in. And feel no pressure to stay. Anything you contribute to my theories makes them better. And I am more than willing to give credit to anybody who comes to my server or drops a comment in the videos. giving credit where credit's due. If you help make my video better, I will give you that love. Anyway, as always, much love, fam.